Hello listeners and viewers. Welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned as always to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and WAEC as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
Good day, learners. My name is Nuhu Bako Fus. You are welcome to government class. Topic: Presidential System of Government. Presidential System of Government. Presidential System of Government is a system of government in which the head of state of a country is also the head of government. All the executive powers are vested in one person with the title of the executive president. In this system of administration, the head of government in presidential system of government is also the head of state, unlike the parliamentary or the cabinet system of government. In parliamentary system of government, the head of state and the head of government are two different people entirely. Now, the head of state does the function that the head of government doesn't do. The head of state does the ceremonial function, while the head of government does the executive functions in the office, with his parliament and the cabinet members that work with him. Now, it will also interest you to know that in presidential system of government, the president is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the military. So the president at times must be the one to give order or command to the general commanding officer in presidential system of government before they could act on in some cases, because he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces and the police. As we continue, you understand it better. Now, features, that is the features of the presidential system of government. 1, the head of state and government. The head of state and government. The executive president serves as both the head of state and that of government. As said earlier in the definition, the head of state is different, does the work of the head of state and the head of government at the same time. So under presidential system of government, the president is the head of state and he is the head of government. So he does the two work at the same time. So the next point will explain the first point better. Ceremonial and executive function. The president performs both the ceremonial and the executive functions. Now, the president performs both the executive and the ceremonial functions at the same time. How? The head of state does the ceremonial function. One, he takes salute on the parade ground. For example, on the Independence Day or Children's Day. He also attends conferences abroad. Example, the UN conference meeting or the AU meeting. And also, he attends fundraising meetings with other world organizations abroad. And the head of government, the president, does the executive work with his cabinet members. The formulation of policies and also the implementation of the policy. So all the policies that are made by the government, at the same time, the executive members are to ensure, in collaboration with the president, that those policies formulated are implemented as planned. Popularly elected. The executive president is popularly elected by the electorate. The whole country is his constituency. In presidential system of government, the president is popularly elected. The president pulls the votes of the majority. So once in office, it is his responsibility to carry everybody alone, because the whole country is his constituency. The whole country is his jurisdiction. So he governs and rules all the country in regard of the corner, either north, south, east, and west. The president is the president and is in charge of the whole country. And that is why we say the country is his constituency. So he has concern and he has the constitutional power to rule the whole country because the majority voted him into office. So he has to govern the whole country with no option. Appointment of cabinet members. He has the constitutional power to appoint any members of his cabinet from within and outside his own party. Under presidential system of government, the president has the right to appoint members of his cabinet from either his party or outside his party, once the person is fit or competent, illiterate and intelligent, because ministers must be people that are highly educated and specialized in a particular field. So the president has the constitutional right and power to appoint minister from either his party or outside his party, once he is able to get competent people that can man such offices. Similarly, supremacy of the Constitution. The Constitution in this system is supreme. Supremacy of the Constitution. The Constitution in this system is supreme. In the presidential system of government, the Constitution is supreme. The Constitution is above everybody. The Constitution is above the president. The Constitution is above the members of the cabinet. The Constitution is equally above the senators. Individual group of individual, no matter how rich and how influential you are, in presidential system of government, the Constitution is supreme. It's above everybody. So the Constitution serves as our guide. And we follow the Constitution just as the Muslim use the Holy Quran as their guide, and also in Christianity religion, they use the Holy Bible as their guide. The same thing, the Constitution is our guide in our country, Nigeria. So the Constitution is supreme, meaning it's above everybody. Fixed term of office. The president is elected for a fixed term in office. The 1999 Constitution provides for 4 years within a maximum of 2 terms. Under presidential system of government, once the president is elected into office, constitutionally, he stays for 4 years. And if the members or the citizen deem it fit to elect him again, he can be re-elected. So the 1999 Constitution gives room for the president to stay in office for 4 years, first term or first tenure. He can be re-elected into office again for another 4 years, that is 8 years put together. So under presidential system of government, the president is elected into office for a fixed term. For first 4 years, second 4 years, that is second tenure or second term, put together, the president can stay in office for 8 years constitutionally. Dismissal. The president can be also dismiss member of his cabinet or even reshuffle the entire cabinet. The president can dismiss members of his cabinet or reshuffle the entire members. In presidential system of government, at any time, the cabinet can, the president can dismiss his cabinet member, that is the minister. At any time, he can dismiss 1 or 2. He can reshuffle all at any time. So there is no security in the office of the minister. The president appointed them into office, and at any time, he can dismiss, he can replace at any time, because the Constitution gives him the right to appoint, and at the same time, he can dismiss anybody from office at any time if found wanting, maybe as a result of embezzlement or executing their function unconstitutionally. So the president can take a stand and dismiss or reshuffle the cabinet members. Individual responsibility. Individual responsibility. Ministers are individually responsible to the president who appointed them. He has direct control over them. All ministers appointed by the head of state or by the president, in other words, at any time, the president has right to call them. He has a right to go through their work. He has a right at any time to sit with them. On normal ground, he holds meeting with them either monthly, weekly, or quarterly, or yearly. So at any time, he can call individual for anything. So all ministers has individual responsibility. They work and operate in their offices, and report to the president. And the president at any time, he can call them to give report or to go through their work and make correction, advice, or tell them whatever he feels as telling them or advising them in order to better their work in the office. So all ministers have individual responsibility or role to play in their various offices, and the head of state has direct control over them. Separation of power. Separation of power. The three organs of government, the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, have separate functions. These three arms of government have separate functions. Constitutionally, their functions are constitutionally divided, and they have the autonomy, they have the power and the right to operate independently without the interference of any of the organ. So the executive play their roles. The executive are policy makers, and they also ensure that the policies are implemented. And the legislature are lawmakers, while the judiciary are the interpreters of law. They interpret the past judgment or punish. So they function independently. Constitutionally, they have the right, and their powers are separated. Now, next point, impeachment. The president or governors of a state can be removed by the parliament through the process called impeachment if found guilty of gross misconduct. The president can be impeached from office. In other words, the president can be removed. Governors too can be impeached or removed from office if they are guilty of gross misconduct or they are executing their functions unconstitutionally. As I said earlier, the Constitution is our guide. So everything that we do in a country, we are guided by the Constitution. So any gross misconduct, embezzlement of funds, executing their functions anyhow, or maybe as a result of incompetency, they can be impeached. The parliament and the cabinet can sit and deliberate on the issue. If found guilty, they cast a vote. And if majority carry the vote, 2/3 of the majority, the president or the governor will be sent out of the office. So the president or the governor at any time, or any governor can be impeached from the office by the members of the parliament and in collaboration with the cabinet members. Bicameral legislative. The parliament is a bicameral. The parliament is bicameral. That is the Senate and the House of Representatives. In presidential system of government, we have two chambers, two houses, the upper house and the lower house. That is the Senate and the House of Representatives. Once they are elected into office, they have fixed term in office too. 4 years in office. Once elected, you cannot dismiss or reshuffle them, except on individual ground. If found wanting from the members of his constituency, the members of his constituency can raise an issue on him or against him. And if found guilty, he can be impeached. But as a body, once they are in office, they have fixed time in office. They stay in office for 4 years before their tenure will finish. Checks and balances. This is an effective means of checking one another among the three organs of government. The three organs of government check themselves. The executive check the judiciary equally check the legislature. They check themselves in executing their functions so that work will be done accordingly as it is enshrined or enveloped in the Constitution. So they check themselves, to curtail excessive use of power or lapses. They try to correct themselves, check themselves, and that would help them to work and to do their work effectively, to have judicial review. The Supreme Court has the power to review some activities of the executive and the legislature and to declare some unconstitutional action null and void. So the judiciary has the power. That is, the Supreme Court has the power to check any decision taken by the executive or the legislature. If there is problem, the judiciary has the right to declare it null and void. In other words, it will cancel it. It will be cancelled. So that is null and void. That decision taken cannot longer be put into practice or be implemented because the judiciary has declared it null and void. So the judiciary has the power, has the constitutional right and power to check the work of the legislature or either the executive. The rule of law. The rule of law is in operation in this system. The rule of law is fully in operation in the presidential system of government. And it says here, we are all equal before the law. That is equality before the law. All citizens in the country are all equal before the law. And the Constitution is supreme. The Constitution is above everybody. So nobody, no individual or group of individuals are above or is above the Constitution because the Constitution is supreme. And for that, we must be guided and governed by the rules and the laws of the Constitution. Now, due to time, we have come to the end of this lesson. But before we leave, I have an assignment for you. And the question says, number 1A, define presidential system of government. Define presidential system of government. Then 1B, highlight 6 features of presidential system of government. Highlight 6 features of presidential system of government. 2, mention and explain any 5 disadvantages of presidential system of government. Mention and explain any 5 disadvantages of presidential system of government. I take it again. Define presidential system of government. That is 1A. 1B, highlight 6 features of presidential system of government. Then question 2, mention and explain any 5 disadvantages of presidential system of government. Student, you have to be very careful. I use the word disadvantages. Maybe during WAEC or NECO, question may come in the form, or they will either use the word merit or demerit. Another word for disadvantages is demerits. And another word for advantages is merits. So be very careful, don't be confused. We have come to the end of this lesson. I remain Nuhu Bako Fus. My number, in case you have any question or you write your assignment and you want me to go through, you can get me through this number, 0802 354 7912. I repeat, 0802 354 7912. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe. Coronavirus is real. Read hard and study hard. Thank you.